Hello.
Hello.
What's up?
How is everyone tonight?
Good.
Great.
Good.
I like that Jack is watching over your shoulder back there.
I know. This is Josh's office.
Yeah, I feel like every
It's
time
perfect.
we do, look, we got props.
Yeah. We actually have a couple of Blumhouse props in the background.
Oh yeah, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
You got anything for show and tell?
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
All right, so this week we're talking about Blumhouse, and they have quite a catalog. So I figure we definitely won't have any problems filling up the hour. And then we'll take some questions and greetings from some viewers. Right now we have Robert saying hello.
Hi.
What up?
Hello, Robert. Where should we start? What should we do first? The hated or the loved?
Maybe love. Maybe we should start out with the good stuff.
You want to start
Maybe-
off light?
Maybe the love turns into the hate because of the diversity.
Yes.
There you go.
So maybe that's
Okay.
the way to do it.
So who wants to kick it off with their tops?
I'm like, I think ours are different. So either way, I guess we can go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I have to like look at mine. Oh, I do know what they are, I think. Because Blumhouse is not
I
my
have to look at mine
Blumhouse
too. So.
Yeah, Blumhouse is not my favorite. And when we had to pick 5, I kind of tried to like put them in an order or narrow them down. And that gets a little wishy-washy after a little bit for me because again, Blumhouse is pretty hit or miss for me. But I would say Insidious was my number 1. And when I say that, I lump that into all of it. So it's not just the first one. I like it as a full series. So that's where, for me, Insidious number 1, absolutely. The title screen of Insidious I love it. I love it with a good stereo.
So we got a thumbs up for Insidious.
Woo!
Yes.
I did remember enjoying it. I did. I was surprised. I went into it with no expectations. It did not make my list, I believe, but I would say it would go on the top. It just didn't make the top 5.
We enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
It was very creepy. The creep factor.
Yeah, but, anything that's creepy, that's good for me.
I like it too because it deals with astral projection. But what my problem is with a lot of movies, which I think we'll get to later in some of these, is when you deal with a subject matter and you don't do your research or you don't do it justice, that's a real turnoff in a movie for me. And I feel like it handled the topic and that interestingness of it in a way that isn't a turnoff. Like, obviously it takes some liberties, but at the same time, a lot of people I think didn't even know what that was before the movie. So it did it justice.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
a good movie.
Yeah, when you carry it into a franchise, it always makes me wonder if they write the first one with the intentions of making sequels, or if it does better than they expect, and they're like,
Yeah. If it's Blumhouse, they've got about 5 or 6 lined up already.
If it's Blumhouse, they're going to make it so there's a sequel. They're going to make it so they can merchandise it, so that it could be at Halloween Horror Nights.
That's all about the brand. Amanda says, hey.
Hello.
Vicky says hi.
Hello.
What's cracking?
Bye.
Amanda chimes in. She especially loved part 2 and 3 as they were intense.
Yeah, and it's pretty rare that you can actually make a 2 and a 3 and a 4 with a different name or whatever you do, and it actually all like still stands pretty well. And that actually happened. That's pretty rare. Like, I don't really hate any of them. So
Yeah.
JR says Blumhouse is the future of horror. Somebody has an opinion out there.
Blumhouse is a very, very split bias on that. It's like you either hate them or you love them.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be honest, but there's sometimes I watch movies and I don't realize it's a Blumhouse movie. And
and then you like it.
You're like, oh, that was but it makes me wonder how much influence they had, because sometimes they don't really have their hands involved, and it's just they put their name on it and back it financially. I don't know what the details are.
I mean, I'll watch almost any movie, and Blumhouse movies I will watch. I just go into knowing that, again, it's a popcorn movie. I'm just going to watch it, and hopefully I don't hate it. That's really the goal with Blumhouse, is just that I don't end the movie angry and immediately have to talk to someone else about why we're angry. So as long as that happens, I'm cool. Like, because again, there's a place for like easy horror, so that's okay.
I was
And it's
just now
easy.
thinking if there was a movie that I had watched that I just could not finish. So I was trying to think if one of those movies might have fell into that. Like, and I think it's been a long time since I've ever had to just stop and go, this is boring.
I
Yeah.
I did that with a Rob Zombie movie, but it's not a Blumhouse, so we won't do
Yeah.
this. But it wasn't because I was bored; it was because I was angry. And I think I've only done that with one other movie in my whole life that I walked out of a theater with. So usually I'll watch it till the end, no matter what. Like I'll let myself be offended. Usually it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
That's like if you're gonna hate something, you might as well see it through and know why you hate it.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta hang in there. Jose Torres
It's
says
fun.
hello. We have Hunter in the
Hello.
house. He says
What up,
Blumhouse
Hunter?
is totally the standard for horror, but that's gonna change soon. What's gonna change, Hunter? Do tell.
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing?
Hunter loves popcorn.
Me too.
So that was our brief on Insidious. I know that I have your tops and
That's one of our tops too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we agreed.
I
See,
really enjoyed it.
we started out
Yeah.
good. We did good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's common ground. We're not at each other yet.
Right. Yet. I loved Insidious. It's just not. It never was a memorable one for me. It's kind of like you said, a popcorn movie where like you watch it for the horror, the jump scares, and it's good. It's good. Cinematically, it's great. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's not like gripping. Like you don't get out of there and be like, oh my god, do you remember that one part? It's kind of like it was good.
But the title screen, that's worth the price of admission, and the closing screen.
This is
I
true.
would-
Yes.
I saw it so many times in the theaters, and anytime I know I'm gonna watch it, I make sure the sound's on really good. Like I love it, which is ridiculous.
Yes.
But it's so rare that a title screen or a closing screen is like I love. But when I do, that's like so much of a movie to me. I don't know why, because it's theatrical. I guess.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. What are we doing? It? We're gonna do another number 2. Anybody? What was your favorite? That was mine. Somebody else.
Well, Insidious was one of our favorites. Halloween.
The Blumhouse
Halloween.
version, the Blumhouse version, or the Rob Zombie version?
that's what gets confusing too, because
They're not the same. The Rob Zombie version's not the Blumhouse version.
two
Yeah.
universes under the same that can compete against.
Well, Blumhouse likes to make a movie that's already got way too many remakes already, so
Yeah.
of course
Yeah.
they did another one for Halloween.
Gonna do
That's
it
kind of
with
their MO.
death.
Yeah,
Or
that's
maybe
kind of their
yeah.
MO. Like we've already redone it. I don't know, however many times. Let's make it another time. It'll be fun.
Dan,
Hi, Dan. I mean, honestly, the Blumhouse Halloween, I don't think is the worst. I don't think I liked it, but I don't think it's the worst Halloween.
I saw it in
Yeah.
theater. I went in with no expectations. I had no expectations at all, which scares me. So I just watched it like a fresh movie. I wasn't watching it trying to compare it to Carpenter or Zombies versions. I just watched it for entertainment value, and it did. It entertained. So I can't really hate on it.
I love
Yeah.
Michael Myers, so even if I didn't really like it, I still got to see Michael Myers, so I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else, Scott?
Quick hello to Scott.
Hello.
JR says
Horror is the best.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Hello guys. Hunter Wayne, Rob Zombie or Blumhouse Halloween is a rock in a hard place. I'm good not being stuck in.
I know it's not Blumhouse, but I love the Rob Zombie version.
Halloween.
The
Yeah.
Rob Zombie one's a little hard too, because so when I saw it originally in the theater, and then after that I got the rough cut of it that it was actually supposed to be with the full rape scene, and I enjoyed it better that way, which I think now is the director's uncut. I think that's a harder one to get, and I'm still actually not sure it's the same version I saw. But it's a really different movie the way it was supposed to go out, and I actually liked it better that way because it's not so obvious. The way they cut it for the theatrical release, I mean, it's fine. I hated Halloween 2 again. Like, it's unwatchable to me. Rob Zombies, it's horrible. But the first one in its like natural essence before it got cut by the studio, I actually think it's an interestingly brutal take on Michael Myers, and I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
I agree.
definitely.
I think the first one, I like that he changed it up and he put his style onto it. You know, the white trash
Mhm.
family, you know, frustrated upbringing, creating this
Always.
monster.
Yeah.
Um, the second one, I feel like it just went off the rails, and we'll get into that later, which is a thing I feel like Rob Zombie does as a self-saboteur in a
Yes.
way. And I was like, the way I kind of chalked it up is like this was his way of getting back at the studio for making him do a Halloween 2 and putting his project he was working on to the side.
Yeah.
Only Rob Zombie knows that, I guess.
Yeah.
But that makes me feel a little better that he didn't purposely make this movie this way.
But I feel like a lot of times with Rob Zombie, he's like the first defensive, excusey person ever past a certain point. Like, again, I love Rob Zombie early on. I love White Zombie. I love the beginning. Then there's like this really part where with music, with his movies, with him as a person, the like switch kind of like changed over. And he's just kind of like reprehensible to me at this point. And that's a weird relationship to have because I adore Rob Zombie the first half. I adore Sherry Moon the first half.
Yes.
The second half, I'm very turned off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so turned off by him. It's amazing because it's all excuses. That, like you said, I mean, that's great if you didn't do the movie you wanted to do, but it's an excuse. Like, you still had to do it. Why did you make it horrible?
Yeah, I'm just that person. If I'm going to do it, I'm a perfectionist, and I hear that about him. He's a perfectionist about certain things. So this lives on forever. So why not just make it right, even if you're not happy with the circumstances? Dan says he loves all the Halloween movies except maybe theatrical cut of 6.
I was like, original movie?
Yeah, like
I had to think that through. I was like,
Blumhouse, because I didn't think Blumhouse had them yet, but okay. Rob Zombie had a white horse in part 2. White horse was like the Black Phillip of Halloween.
Yeah. Actually,
White horse.
we have the in the portion in number 2 where Michael Myers slams old boy in front of the truck on the horn. We actually got that right there.
Oh, the antler.
Yeah, on the antler on the front of the truck, and he slams him down on it. So we enjoyed it a little bit.
Really did amp up those sound effects though, because I saw the first one in theater, and it was the sound effects were just so loud. It's like he really bumped that up for like more intensity because you could hear everything. It's kind of intense.
I wasn't a huge fan of that second one either, but
Levi
props
agrees with the first half of Rob Zombie's Halloween is pretty entertaining. Then it falls apart. So Levi agrees with Justine and myself with as the ending just kind of loses, loses.
But I mean, that's kind of the thing too. Like again, with Rob Zombie in any of it, which we'll get to some of the other ugly stuff. I feel like again, even new Rob Zombie at best, I watch it, I forget about it, and I didn't care. Like that's really my best case scenario about it now. Like I've watched 31 and 3 from Hell, and I've watched them more than once, I think, and I still don't remember any of it except that I was like, whatever. Like it just wasn't interesting to me, and I think that's the part that's offensive is I technically should love it. Like I was on your side, I was on your team. Like I let things go with the early stuff. I was like, yeah, that's fine, that's your style. But like, yeah, and like here I am, like just again repulsed by it, and like I said, those aren't as bad as some of them to me, but I just don't remember them. But that's still not a good sign. Like anytime I've watched a movie more than once and I don't remember it, that's pretty bad.
Well, Sergeant Hart seems to want everybody to know that you loved The Lord of Salem. I was going to bring it up at some point because we can't let this go unseen. If you haven't already, go to madmonster.com and do yourself a favor and read her review. You'll know the article when you see this moon face of hers.
That's fire.
Quite disapproving moon face.
Definitely check that out on madmonster.com if you haven't already. We periodically post reviews, and it's a passionate one.
Is it a doozy?
Which I guess we could easily segue into The Lords of Salem because I know that was on my bottom slide.
I know that was on our top, so here we go.
You guys should go first. You guys should go first. Tell us how you loved it.
Oh no! Oh no!
Well, I love it just because I identify with witches And then the cinematography, I love it. Sherry Moon looks amazing in it. She's my girl crush. And I even have a tattoo. The symbol is on me. But I just love it because it's in Salem, and I like that, just the way it looks there, so dreary and dark. And I'm like, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I'm there. Some of the story was like, threw me off, and I didn't understand some of it, but it's really the cinematography that got me. The story of the witches, and Sherry Moon looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I love
that's
it.
what you're looking for, the silver lining in a shit show. And I guess that's the best way I can describe it, because I had high expectations. I was really looking forward to this movie coming out. I have the double-sided theatrical poster in a poster like can. I can't bring myself to hang it because I hated the movie so much. I was like, I turned it off after ending going, what did I just watch? Like, this had so much potential. The cast, some people, like some final girls that you wanted to see reprise horror roles.
Oh, yeah.
Witches, they had all of the elements, and like, where did you go so wrong? Like, this is already written for you in history and so many other mediums, like books or movies or TV shows. You have all all these resources, and you went with that. The chicken goblin thing, like near the end, it just exploded. I'm like, what just happened? I have no idea.
I'm like,
I could have done without all the naked old ladies. Like,
I can't even talk. That's how upset I get about when I think about the potential of this movie. Because, like Jessica said, all the points are there. Like, I'm a fan of, the history of Salem and witches and, anything like that of the occult. It's great. You have me sold. I want to see it. That was not that. That was not it at all. And I'm a fan of Sherry as well. I love seeing her in roles and even, reprising the same roles, but it just was not, it just didn't do it for me. It hits all the marks that make a movie likable for me.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of the soundtrack. I really enjoyed that. I like how they used the music to play off your emotions and just the certain strings and chords they were hitting. I mean, I really liked that. It was a very slow burn. That's
it's because you're a musician, so you like the music.
Yeah. Michael's coming out with some fighting words. Rob Zombie can't direct his way out of a pumpkin.
I'm trying to let everybody get their good stuff out before I really go in on it.
Amanda has on her bottom 5 as well. Michael says good for me. Yeah, good for me.
Good for you.
Julio says, doesn't the sun rise in Salem just like everywhere else? It's not always dark there.
Actually, half that movie was filmed in LA. It wasn't actually filmed in Salem. Parts of it were, but a lot of it was on 2 different sound studios. Like the theater was actually in LA. So we can't even give it full credit for being filmed in Salem because only part of it was.
Dan, are you being sarcastic, Dan, or are you truly pro Lord of Salem?
No, I think he likes it. Dan likes it.
Amanda was desperately disappointing with the movie. Zombie. That was a miss, and that went tying for me with 31 as well, because I watched that and I wasn't sure what I was watching. I couldn't believe that Malcolm McDowell signed up for that movie.
Well, here's the thing, really, that gets me with Lords of Salem. So it's kind of what I touched on before. If you're going to go with a topic, you need to kind of do your research and present it really well. And generally speaking, when men make movies about witchcraft and women, if they don't handle it right, it really shows through. And the movie was. You have a bunch of naked witches, but you didn't necessarily do it in a way to be like, it was more just trying to be shocking. It wasn't realistic. There was no beauty of form in the nudity. Sherry's naked butt in scenes that didn't need to be there. That wasn't anything except like a cheap butt shot and a tit shot. So there's like no positive real women role in this movie about satanic witches, which is like a huge women powered thing. And there's literally nothing in it that's like pro woman. It actually kind of reads kind of misogynistic, which is a really big turnoff if you're going to be about witchcraft. Second of all, like, you're going to make these really powerful satanic witches, but it falls short. Like, it's just really not good. So on that topic, it's really sad. Like, you pick Salem, you pick this whole thing, and then you don't even do it justice. You don't do the research. Having said that, the song that John 5 did, not Rob Zombie, is outstanding. I love that little musical clip. I think that's actually the highlight of the whole movie is a little Lords of Salem song thing. I think that's incredible. And that's all they should have left it at was that like 20-second sound clip. It's fine.
So Lords of Salem in short should have just been a music video.
Yeah, no, it should have. No, it should have. It
Sherry
should have.
Moon. Yeah, they
It
could have
should've.
condensed it all into a 4-minute music video,
Yeah.
and it would have sufficed. Other
Because
than
here's
that,
the thing. Yeah, Sherry Moon can't act in that movie. There's like no use for her. And even that, Sherry Moon is a beautiful woman. And we decided to make her like as dressed down as possible and almost unattractive, but we'll still show her tits and her ass. Like, that's kind of weird, number one. Number two, she's a beautiful woman. Why can't she be a beautiful woman and still be in this role? Like, it's just kind of a weird choice. Styling choices, all of that, it's really off. And the movie looks dated if you rewatch it now, and not intentionally. Like, it looks dated. It looks cheap. It doesn't look like it's good. And again, Sherry just doesn't have the acting skill to really present like this deep character that has a history of witchcraft in the family, that's been banned and tortured for all these years, and she's a former drug addict with a dude that kind of looks like Rob Zombie, that's her kind of pretend boyfriend. Like, it's just lame. It's just lame. And the thing is, Rob Zombie actually wrote like a full book screenplay with this, and I haven't read that yet. And maybe that's outstanding. Like, maybe he tells the whole story in a totally different way, and it's incredible because the idea of the story is really cool. It's a great idea, but the execution on it is just the most butchered thing I've ever seen. It's hard to watch. And you literally have to watch it going, it's okay. It's Rob Zombie. It doesn't matter that he made this scene have nothing to do with anything, or that this isn't good, or that we just left the story drop there and moved on to something else. And if you want to do that, then that's fine. But it's still not a good movie in any fundamental way. It's a bad movie. The idea is great. There's some great things in it. I mean, some of the really shocking scenes are cool, but they feel lame and shocking in it. Like, they feel like you're just trying to, oh, there's priests with dildos. Oh, okay. Like, I'm not offended, and that's actually a cool image, but it would have been a great music video, not a great movie. So
it's almost like they had all these ideas. They played roulette. Let's just pull random things and play Mad Libs and put it together and call it a movie. And it's funny that you bring up Sherry Moon, and it should say starring Sherry Moon and Sherry Moon's butt crack.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a thing. Like what Tarantino is with Uma Thurman's feet, Rob Zombie.
Any feet. He's got a foot fetish. Any feet.
This game where we text each other photos. There was a game called Jennifer Tilly's cleavage or Sherry Moon's butt crack, and it would just be a super cropped photo of just like either a butt or boobs. And you have to guess, is it Sherry Moon's butt crack or is it Jennifer Tilly's cleavage? Because it's just as famous as she is. Her ass is just as famous as she is.
And look, I love her ass. I love it. I love her ass in the baby character. It makes sense. Go with it. Like, that's where it should have its place. But she doesn't. She can do baby. She can carry out that role. But after that, she maybe can't. And maybe you should cast someone else that I have to watch for a whole movie. And like I said, I used to love her, and now I don't so much. But I mean, I can't argue. Look, House of a Thousand Corpses isn't actually continually a very good movie, but I love it, and I overlook that. So I can't keep doing that with Rob Zombie. I can't keep going and be like, well, this part's kind of cool, and I want to be on your team, so I'll overlook it. Because you do that, like, you get like 3 or 4 strikes on that, and you kind of use that up. And he just doesn't really move forward. That's the thing that's kind of a bummer. Like, he's never evolved as a director, really. I mean, like, honestly, again, I think his Halloween was better than maybe the stuff he did after that, which... that's not a good sign. You know what I mean? If that's like your last high note, that's kind of a bummer. Like, yeah, it's cool that he uses cool ideas, but it just never works out.
Michael agrees with you. You have very valid points.
It's a bummer.
Scary. They are all messed up like land sirens. Well, with probable cause. They're angry.
We're trolling each other.
On the dot, Sergeant Horror.
We're trolling each other.
You know, if you're gonna pit those two together, then yeah, that's an easy call because the Lighthouse.
Yeah, but Sergeant Horror never watched Lighthouse, so I don't think he really knows if it's better.
He's a button pusher. You know, he's pushing buttons.
Exactly.
Scott says he hasn't seen it in a long time. He needs to give it another viewing. If you are up for self-torture, by all means. I don't think it's streaming anywhere. If that tells you anything, no one.
I mean that. Well, that's the thing. I had to rewatch it to do the review because, like, I can't just base it off of hate that I had however many years ago. Like, I, as a person, can't do that. I want my hate to be authentic. So I had to pay to rent it, which was even more irritating. And then I watched the whole thing again. Yeah, and I watched the whole thing again. I was like, God, it still just makes me mad. So
I want my $4 back.
yeah, pretty much. I was like, I can't believe I paid to do this to myself again.
Damn, Lord does for women what Town that dreaded Sundown does for the queer community.
Valid.
I haven't seen Northern Film, but anything is better than The Lighthouse. Dang, we got another.
Yeah.
We're gonna go Lighthouse round 4. It's okay.
Keep your farts out of here. Stay away with your
Smelly
farts.
farts. That's the best scene in the movie.
Gross.
Sergeant Horror says the styling was 90s grunge.
But it wasn't. It wasn't.
I mean,
they tried to make her like thrift store chic, but by the way, those jackets are like $500 brand new jackets. They weren't thrift store
That's like
jackets.
those ripped up jeans she wears that are like super expensive.
Yeah, like, and again, I actually don't mind her style, but she didn't style herself for the movie. That was an actual. He loves the purple dildos. It was the style. It was the stylist that made those choices, and they didn't go together because that's not really a real person. And if it is, they're a fucking mess. So like,
What?
and she's a beautiful woman. Why are we doing this to her?
Someone did watch The Lighthouse.
He wants to. He misses me. He wants. He misses me. He wants to do this again.
Levi's laughing over there. The Lighthouse won't go away. It is a stench that just won't wash off.
So bad.
Controversial opinion. I haven't really enjoyed a Rob Zombie movie since The House of a Thousand Corpses. I haven't seen one all the way through since his first Halloween.
That's true. We really digress off Blumhouse into like Rob Zombie hate, but no one's surprised.
I mean, I feel like he gets brought up in every live that we have. And is that maybe he's doing the right thing? He's getting us talking. Everybody seems to. That's the first things that come out of their mouth. Like, what are your favorite horror movies? House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that he's I think that he's just basically consistent in. He doesn't change. Like, again, he never evolves. He just keeps doing the same thing. So if everyone wants the same thing, they love him. Like, if they never want it to change, and then anyone else that's like, I want to see you evolve and grow, they're like turned off by it. So, I mean, that's why it still works. That's why it's an easy thing to debate on, because I don't think most people feel indifferent about his movies. It's one way or the other. It
definitely seems polarized. Love it or hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very rare that I come across somebody who goes, I can take it or leave it. It's either I seriously just don't like his movies, or I love anything this man puts out. He can do no wrong.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I like them all.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel that same way about his music?
I've hated everything that he out since White Zombie. I stopped liking when the band broke up and it was no longer White Zombie and it was Rob Zombie. That's when I noticed, I'm not digging this anymore. It's just the same stuff. It sounds like the same stuff over and over again. And it just waned and waned until I didn't even care if he put out an album.
Yeah, you guys, since you love Rob Zombie, do you like the music still the whole way through?
I like some music. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll actually listen to it at if it's not his music, it's Rob's music or Marilyn Manson.
Okay, but with Rob Zombie, is it the earlier albums, which still sounds like White Zombie, or is it later Rob Zombie? Are you sitting there listening to an American Witch and jamming out? Are you?
No,
yes,
I'm not.
I am.
He's not. He's not.
She loves it, and that's cool. I don't like the newer poppy shit that he does. I like the White Zombie sounding shit.
Yeah.
I like fucking Dracula. Like, I like those fucking headbangers. Like, I don't like the poppy Jet Set Radio bubblegum bullshit.
Foxy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. She loves it, and she'll rock it. And I'll listen to it because she listens to it, but I don't play them.
Yeah. So then technically you're the number one Rob Zombie fan on here.
Yes.
So you went all the way through. Yeah, you're the official.
Yes. And then I feel like we have a connection because of Sid.
Yeah.
Because he married us.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have a connection, and I'm like, oh.
But Sid is rad. Like, you know what I mean? Whether Rob Zombie did him, justice as his career and really helped him out. I'm not going to negotiate that, but Spider Baby is the most incredible movie in the world, and that had nothing to do with Rob Zombie.
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Sid stands on his own. That's the thing, So I get that.
Definitely.
There's definitely did not do him justice in the last one.
Yeah, I was very disappointed. Yeah, that's
I mean, that's a whole other thing. See?
Yeah, that's a thing we're not even going to get into tonight.
Yeah, we don't even know what's that. We can't
That'd
do
be
that
hard.
professional.
Anyways, Hunter just wants to say Sarge said Lighthouse is a great serial killer movie with so much action you can't keep your eyes off it.
Yes, he
True
did.
or
He
false?
loves it. He loves it. He's obsessed with it. That's why he keeps doing this, because he's obsessed with Lighthouse and he just wants to keep bringing it up because he loves it so much. But he doesn't want you guys to know it because he thinks it makes him look like he likes our movies. So
Garbage versus garbage, but Ken Forey.
Ken Forey is dope.
Ken's awesome.
that is true.
Yeah.
He keep giving him a job. Devil's Rejects was legit. Okay.
Well, but see, again, that's still in the earlier thing. I said,
that's different.
Yeah.
With Rob Zombie, there's like this moment of change where it all goes wrong. And I kind of blame El Superbeasto. That's kind of around the time everything went off the rails. And again, same thing. I was really into the idea of El Superbeasto. I loved it. I was like, this is great. And then when it happened, I was like, ooh. Like, why is this? Why is this where we went with it? So, I mean, that's to me like the definitive moment for Rob Zombie is El Superbeasto and after. Like, I feel like before I can still get down, after I'm offended. But I don't even, I'm just offended by him. So.
Oh, yeah. We beat that one down pretty good.
Back to Blumhouse.
We'll get out of that subcategory and get back on the Blumhouse train. What should we get into next?
I think we still have. I think we're still on love. We kind of touched into hate. Let's see what else I like. Oh, I loved Upgrade. That's probably my second favorite one. So
Upgrade really surprised me making it into the horror side because I watched more like a sci-fi action. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
I feel like it's horror in the idea. To me, it's a super grindhouse movie, which are my favorite. And in that grindhouse scenario, it would be with horror. You know what I mean? It would be a double feature with that. But again, in and of itself, other than I guess the future and electronics are scary, I don't know if it's horror.
Yeah, because it kind of gave me that Terminator-like vibe, like AI. Just kind of like renewed. I thought that the concept was interesting. And,
did you guys like Upgrade?
Did you watch that one?
I honestly don't think I've seen it. Not gonna lie.
Now you need to do that tonight. It's an incredible movie.
It's very entertaining. It's a fast watch. Yeah. Like it sold me the trailer. I was like, well, this looks interesting. I wonder what this is about. And some little twists, whether it could be predictable twist or not, but interesting how it plays out.
Yeah, it's easy, it's fun, it's pretty tight.
Upgrade is what people wanted Venom to be. Oh my God, the kills. Yeah, that's where the action. That's where when I look at it, I'm like, this reminds me just like a good old fashioned action with sci-fi dystopia feel. Mad Max.
It's like for people that liked RoboCop and they get a new movie, so which is hard to do because again. Yeah, because a lot of people can't really try to remake that, but it is a really traditional grindhouse movie that's a new one, and it's actually solid. Like I watched it again. Every time someone wanted to go see it in the theater, I was like, "Do you want to go? I'll go." It was really fun in the theater on the big screen. Yeah, it was. It was really fun. Fun.
Seems like the viewers seem to agree that it's worth a watch.
Well, we'll have to watch it then.
Yes.
You guys do.
We don't venture outside of horror.
Yes, I'll send you a video on Instagram. Look, I'm watching
it. Then I need your review. So we have to see if you hated it or loved it.
Okay.
Good. I was like, I think that was my number 2. I mean, then it gets into Get Out, but everybody liked Get Out. Did anyone actually hate Get Out? I mean, is that even a thing?
I actually liked it.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. It was there was a lot of shocking things. I was like, oh, no way! It was a good movie.
I thought this was a little predictable, but I really liked it.
I didn't think it was predictable at all because I had to convince people to watch it because they thought it was predictable in the sense that it was going to be a typical racial-driven movie in the sense that you always think, where it didn't. It wasn't that at all. You have to watch it. It's not what you think. It's not like you're going to be watching American History X and it just, you know, beats the same subject to death. It kind of flips it on you. And that's what I appreciate about Jordan Peele's writing, is that he takes something that, you know, you're expecting and it kind of changes it and twists it until you don't really recognize it anymore. And you're not thinking about what you initially were when you started watching the movie. Because there's so many layers to this movie when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Not left and right, the little things that tie together. And that's what I can really appreciate about him making horror movies, because it's so fun to watch and go, man, I didn't make that connection. You know, and people dissected that movie. And I even watched a video of him reading everybody's personal theories about how she was eating the cereal in the room, how she was separating the colors, all of that stuff, all those nuances that he adds into there that when you're watching is like, he pretty much told a story without even saying anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely landed on my top.
I'd love to find someone that hated that movie, because obviously I think it's winning and I think everybody loved it. So.
Anybody out there watching? Oh, we got one. I didn't like Get Out.
Oh, you just want us to hear you talk. I'm just kidding. Tell us.
Well, go on. You tell. What didn't do it for you?
Tell us everything.
Yeah, of course you did.
I wish I could give Jordan Peele a lot of money and have him go to town on slasher killers.
I mean, I think the thing with, like, I think Get Out's a really solid movie. Us, I didn't feel quite the same way about. Like, and it's not that it was bad. I just thought it was like a Tales from the Crypt. It should have been like 45 minutes or an hour. I don't know that it needed to be a full length, but that's not really that it's bad. It's just, again, I don't think it was as tight as Get Out. So I feel like if Jordan Peele, I know he did that Twilight Zone thing and I never saw it, but to me, that feels like a good place for him. Like making a 45-minute, hour long, great idea, something that's different kind of thing, I feel like is almost better than him just churning out movies, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the first season of The Twilight Zone, but I've tried to get into the second one, and it just seems lackluster. Like, it's just not that same feeling as I got in the first one. There was just very reminiscent of, like, the old school Twilight Zone. But then the second season, I don't know if the writers got to him or what was going on, but it just seemed very watered down now. Just not that same creepy feeling. So
I gotta try it still.
Michael,
that's really good.
He says, the last thing I want to do when I pay to see a horror movie is sit there and be drilled by political message.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
it's a movie.
Politics are scary, so why not? Like, why wouldn't you do that in a horror movie?
Yeah, but that's the thing. But zombies were political. Half of horror has actually got a political undercurrent. So just because you pick Get Out to be mad about seems kind of ludicrous. Like, did you hate Romero? I doubt it.
Levi, he ruined Twilight Zone in the second season with a horrible To Serve Man.
Yeah, that's one.
I gotta give it a try. I hated that Creep Show too, though. So
that was shit.
I didn't like it.
Get Out touches on that of that could totally happen, which is what makes it terrifying. Which
true.
Yeah. So we decided if you don't like Get Out, there's something wrong with your brain. We already decided that. Sorry, no offense.
We had unanimous thumbs up all across the board for.
We love that.
Get Out.
It's a good one.
What else we got in the top, guys?
One of my top.
The Purge.
Yeah.
Ooh, The Purge, fucking classic.
I like The Purge.
So
Gina, was that in yours too?
That was in my top.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll start. Like, it was relatability as far as it could be a real thing. I feel that's what sucked me in. As far as like with each one, could it have ended with the first one? Yes, you could have ended and just left it like that, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But again, like we discussed earlier, Blumhouse style. If they see a potential or any kind of interest, and they beat it to death, and I even watched the TV series, that was too bad. I mean, it was just, I didn't think it needed to be done. It just wasn't necessary. But overall, it's just like a fun popcorn movie, as we like to put it. I enjoyed it. I did.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, in my mind, it made the gears turn. Like, would I lock myself up, or would I be out causing hell? And then I said, I don't think I would do either. I think I would be the one killing the people trying to kill people. So I would be like Lanny, like, oh, you want to kill people? I'm going to kill those people and
Yeah.
there you have it. So it makes you wonder. So what would you guys do? Would you hide, lock yourself up, or
I'm writing a list all year of everybody I want to knock off.
watch
At
out
the
for
end of the
that
year.
guy?
I'm hitting the street. We're doing it. That's it.
That's how I feel. I feel like it's something that could happen, just like Get Out. I feel like it's something that could happen.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden we wake up and it's like, oh, by the way, guys, there's going to be a purge. And it's like, oh, shit. You got to get ready.
Right.
Yeah.
I think just the notion of all crime being legal for 24 hours, it just kind of, it glosses over like, yes, everybody's killing each other, robbing banks and stuff. Like, what else is going on behind the scenes that we don't see during those 24 hours, you know? So it's I think it'd be a lot scarier than just what you see. But I mean, it was a pretty predictable film as well. I mean, you kind of saw everything coming, like, you know, the organization showing up, and it was good. I liked it, but it definitely could have stopped after one.
Yeah.
Levi's in the top list camp too. He agrees because again, he feels like we're not far off from that.
Yeah.
Which is scary.
Yeah.
It was okay with worth a ticket price.
Yeah.
I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it at home. I watched it during a hurricane.
It's easy, like any of them. Even I think the like sequels, they're all easy.
You guys would all be barricaded. Don't lie. I can't say that I would. I'm ex-military. I'm a combat vet, so my mentality is go get them. I can't say.
Yes.
My ass would probably be barricaded, but my barricade would be like some Thunderdome shit, and I'd be ready if it went down.
But
that's just
Home Alone.
because
rig it up like Kevin McAllister.
if I'm going after people that I think are assholes, that means there's probably a whole bunch of bitches coming after me. So, which is fine. I know better. So my ass is gonna like have a fucking rad fort, and then we'll be ready to go if we get in the fort.
If it happened in real life, it would be a lot worse than the movie portrays. I don't know because I always scan rooms, and I feel like there are a lot of people that couldn't survive if food sources were cut off and resources were cut off. There are just too many people that don't know how to survive day-to-day life without amenities. So I don't know. Like, it's easy to think that people go crazy and kill, but I don't even think these people could get that right these days.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Do that.
I think I would more concentrate on just hitting the banks, hitting the Ferrari dealership, signing myself a couple, titles, and doing some good deeds, I think that'd be fun.
I feel like The Purge and Get Out kind of lead us to The Hunt, though. I think that's in the same category.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, we only made it about halfway through that film, I think.
Did you? Oh, you didn't like it?
I thought it was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I didn't like that.
But he fell asleep.
Maybe that's my brain turned it off.
He did. He fell asleep. But from what I saw, I actually liked it. Yeah, it does remind me of The Purge.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of that same, I guess, political possibility movie. Because Blumhouse likes to, again, ride what's successful. And obviously that is kind of current. But it's different because I think they're all different in a way. But, I think definitely The Hunt is slightly more woman empowered oriented. That's kind of the twist and everything else, and the movie does change halfway through it. So I don't know how far you got into it, but I do feel like it changes it up. I do kind of for me though, I think the end was the best part. So I like
that was last year, wasn't it?
I think it was from a year ago.
Yeah, it was last year.
This year, actually.
I'm trying to think of it too because I haven't watched it yet.
Oh no, it was this year.
Oh yeah, it was this year.
Yeah, because I feel like
it's felt like a year.
Yeah, it that dip in the beginning of all this when everything started shutting down. But I could be wrong. And again, it was on my list of movies to watch, and it had a theatrical preview up on streaming platforms.
Right before everything shut down. It's really good. Again, it's like Upgrade. That was in my top 5. I would recommend anyone to watch it. Also, again, I like to consume horror, so it's new. So if you haven't seen it, it is some newness, which I like. But it's different. And again, it's still the same thing. It still, I guess, has a message, but it's fun. And it's different. It's and again, I love watching women beat the shit out of other women. So it's great.
Yeah, I like Yeah, I like that.
And it's none of that just laughing at each other and hair going everywhere.
No, like
I
real.
wanna see some
real-
bitch.
That's what it is. You'll like it. It's definitely. That's what I'm saying. It's very like woman empowerment because it doesn't underestimate the women characters. They actually are the ones that have the upper hand. So it's different for that, and I really liked it. And like I said, it's also not so much of a, I guess, feminist message that it gets lost in there either. Like, it, you know, it's got its messages, but I think it's still fun enough that you don't have to get offended. So it's worth it. And again, it's new. It's worth the money. Pay to rent it. You're in your house. Why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Betty Gilpin was amazing in The Hunt. I'll have to see for that myself.
Super
Why
good.
do you like that?
I just told you.
Mm-hmm.
But why do you like it? That's the question.
Can you
Gotta go find
can
it.
you tell me again why you like it?
But why really?
No. Why do you like that? That's
Here's the thing. I think that you didn't like Get Out, so I've already established you probably won't like The Hunt. So it's a little too political. It's a little too close to home, maybe. But yeah.
Amazing movie, only a horror movie in the current climate. Really don't think it's a horror movie. Again, I think people overgeneralize horror as a genre. There are subgenres, just like in anything, music, whatever.
An action movie, I guess.
Yeah.
It's more action.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it falls with Upgrade. Whereas you wouldn't watch and go, I just watched a horror movie. But I guess in all fairness, there's subcategories that we tend to forget about, psychological slasher and whatnot.
Well, it's still kind of horror in the same way again Get Out is though. It's still got that possibility, you know. Or the Purge even. I mean, Purge is obviously a little bit more straightforward, but it's kind of like I said, they're actually also kind of in that same category, really. So if you did like Purge and you did like, you know, Get Out, I'd say it's worth trying, like watching whether you like it or not. But if you're that guy that just didn't like it, then you know.
I fell asleep.
You're okay. You're okay. You tried.
I did. I legitimately tried. Yes.
And you fell asleep, and that's okay because sometimes we're tired, so that's all right.
That's true. I'll give it another watch. I will.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you might like it better once you get to the end because I really do think that's where it's like you. I think you love it by the end. You know. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember the crate being dropped. Everyone surrounded, got the weapons, started killing each other, and then
That was unpredictable to me. I was like, oh my God, I thought you were the main character. Oh, I thought you were. And
Yeah.
I did like that. I did like you thought it was the main character. Boom, they get popped, and then it moves over to the next person. And it just didn't.
That's what's interesting though. That continues throughout the whole movie. So that's where I'm saying I would suggest. Yeah, kind of. So I would suggest you give it a little bit more of a watch. It has surprises, but they're not necessarily surprises you would expect. So that's again fresh.
Okay.
New.
That's important.
Yeah. And see, I like that because I am that guy where like I have to be quiet when we watch something because I call it out like 20 minutes before it happens. Oh yeah, that guy's gonna come back. He's gonna be in the room waiting for him, and like she gets.
You're that guy.
I am that guy.
I mean, and I think I do that whether I do it out loud or I do it in my head. But like, I don't think the hunt gives you that chance.
Yeah.
So I think I think it's good.
It doesn't.
Right, let's fast forward it because we've eaten up a lot of time talking about the love. So let's get down to the gritty and like the hates. And,
we're getting to the hates now.
Like, what is the top? Like
honorable mention. Split was amazing. I just had to say that.
Split.
I feel like that is definitely going to eat up a lot of time talking about.
Yes, we're gone. I just had to say that.
That was on my top. Split was on my top.
Oh, The Hunt was in our bottom.
I wouldn't have put Split in a horror category, so that's where that it goes with, I guess, Upgrade and
a psychological thriller.
Yeah. It felt more, and I know this was already discussed. That's why I didn't really touch on it. That it felt very comic book driven, like very dark and more realistic, relatable comic book.
Yes,
absolutely.
So we'll bypass that for right now, and we'll go into our favorites. And we'll let Justine, if he's passionate. So let's.
I am. I hate it. Paranormal Activity. I hate all the paranormal activities that went with it, and I blame you for all the shitty ghost movies and shitty ghost TV that I have to watch that's rigged but you're leading America to believe is really happening, but it's not. It's all fake. And that's your fault, Paranormal Activity, and your fault, furthermore, Blumhouse. So while I'll give you credit for starting a genre. I'll give you that. It still sucks, and I hate all of the things that go with it. But I didn't want to waste my whole hate list for Paranormal Activity, so I just lumped it all under one.
I noticed that, and it goes. You don't have to point most of them out individually because they are connected. It is. Oh man,
that's a rad prop though.
That's baby Annabelle.
It's the real prop. You know, that's not the movie one. We're not fans of the movie.
Baby Annabelle.
Yeah.
Is that the real Annabelle?
No, that one's like 5 foot tall.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's a mini Annabelle. Yeah. That's adorable.
That's a baby.
It's just a mini thing.
That's adorable. But see, that's the thing. Annabelle's a real thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Paranormal Activity is schlock. I don't have anything wrong with Ghost Hunters. I don't have anything wrong with ghosts. But Paranormal Activity puts it into that cheesy, fake category where you take advantage of people, and I just think I don't like it.
That was on our list too, our bottom.
Like our bottom.
We put them all. We're like, nope.
I did. I'll have to say, I enjoyed the first one. I liked it just because it was kind of the first one of that genre. Like you were saying, it was really cool. It's like, you know, you're living this urban legend. It's connected to the real Annabelle with something that actually happened. Ed and Lorraine Warren. So, I mean, I enjoyed the history behind it and, like, seeing those real events happening. I thought that was really cool. Everything after the first one was pretty much fucked for me. I wasn't a fan. I apologize if I can't say that word on Facebook.
We've been cursing all day.
I was personally torn, and the third one made it on my top, specifically only for the ending. Now, with the paranormal movies, they're longer than they need to be. They could be 30 minutes, and that's that. The long, slow build up until what happens in the repetition. And I'll get into that because one of my least favorite ones has to do with repetition. I could do it all that. I could edit it and do a super short cut and make Paranormal awesome just from the ending, from the last 30 minutes. And Paranormal 3, that was the case for me. I happened to turn the TV on. It was on. I never went on my way to watch the paranormal movies, but this happened to be on. And I was like, what did I just watch? Because that was the one where took place in '88, and they go to the mom's house, and that's when she real. And it was about witches and symbols, and I'm like, what's happening? I thought this was about ghosts. Dead. And then all the things that escalate to the end with no answers. I think that's what I loved about it. It was like that just went sideways. It had nothing to do with ghosts. That was about witches.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, you know what else is sideways? You know what else went sideways? The fact that I just explained the plot line to The Conjuring and nobody called me out on that.
I did. I actually did. I was like, wait, he's talking about Conjuring.
No, I got it, but I was like, okay, he's going with the prop.
Yeah, I was like, why are we talking about The Conjuring? Which I love The Conjuring.
My bad.
But yeah, I was like,
that's
a great movie. That is not Paranormal Activity.
Yeah. That is a good movie.
So rewind. I don't like any of the Paranormal Activity. They're all shit.
None of them.
So, they're just bad films.
Paranormal Activity, like I said the last time, are great. They're great. It's comedic to me, like the incidents. You know, the girl getting picked up by her hair, and then she runs out, and like they still haven't left this house. They go to bed. They try to live a normal life, and they're just like, why is all this weird stuff happening? And it's always one person that doesn't believe that makes everything in the situation. So to me,
that's America right now.
I love a
like,
horror.
Oh God,
Yeah, but it is literally the dumb person in the horror movie that never does anything right is America right now. We all didn't think they exist. They do. So
they're everywhere.
Yes.
We've been proved wrong. So I mean, again, they're not that dumb. They're actually just a human, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that's
like,
the truth.
oh, I don't know why that happened, but that's not. Trust me, there's nothing. I don't know why all these crazy things are happening in our house.
Speaking of stupid people, I hated The Invisible Man. I know everyone else loved it, but I really thought that was terrible. And that girl makes me want to stab myself in the eye because she's the same character in every movie.
Oh, you mean The Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah, but I mean, even that, I actually haven't seen that. I've seen her in a ton of other indie flicks, but she has the same exact character in every movie, and she's really irritating. So maybe she's good in Handmaid's Tale, but I can't imagine. Elizabeth
is it?
Moss, is that her
Did you
name?
like her in Mad Men? Did you watch Mad Men?
I didn't watch that either. So maybe those are the things she's good in. I've just seen her in a ton of indie horror, and it's terrible.
Paranormal Activity is love.
I realized that Hunter, we don't like the same movies. So
You guys could never watch movies together.
no, that's not gonna go well. No.
Right now, I'm going to take that opportunity and go into one of my bottom least favorite was Happy Death Day. I couldn't. If I had to watch the scenario go over one more time, I was going to lose my mind. I mean,
Did you watch the second one?
Yes, and it was just as bad. I'm like, I don't know why I even watched the second one. I'm not one person that doesn't like Groundhog's Day. I couldn't get into Russian Doll for the same thing. I had a hard time getting to Westworld because if I had to watch that can fall from that saddle one more time, I was going to do it with repetition. I just can't.
My buddy was a butt double on Westworld.
That's a good
Fun
credit
story.
to have.
Who, Keith?
Yeah, Keith, yeah. Yeah, he was psyched about it.
But was he Sherry Moon's butt double? That's all you wanted.
Yeah.
No, actually, I was.
All right.
It's a very, very strange story.
I mean,
Yeah,
I thought Happy Death Day was, again, easy. The second one I found irritating. So I did like the first one because I thought it was fun and easy. Second one really bothered me. So I don't know. It's.
I don't think we saw the second.
No, I didn't want to because from the trailer it looked identical to the first one. Just,
Yeah.
oh shit, it's happening again. It's like,
well,
Yeah.
it isn't. It's like it happens to everyone around her, and now they all have to work together. Yeah, and again, it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed.
It just wasn't needed. No.
It's a teen bop movie. I mean, I considered Scream a teen bop movie, but I enjoyed Scream.
I didn't like Scream that much either, though.
I
But
didn't
I
watch
mean,
it.
again, I love Final Destination, so that's like, I know that's questionable, but I love those movies. So I mean, I get it. But that's why Happy Death Day doesn't bother me the first one because it's fine. It's like fun.
Yeah.
People get killed. Great. There's murder. I like it.
They
It's
are
fine.
fun.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of death days. I'd say no.
She
Don't
hates it.
like
Thumbs down.
Oh, and you know what? We'll make it quick because I know we're getting towards the end. But my biggest point of contention that I already mentioned was that Blumhouse likes to make these needless remakes that didn't need to happen. And again, Halloween's probably the best one, whether you liked it or not. It didn't need to happen, and now they're gonna like ride 2 more movies off of it because it's Blumhouse. But
Right.
the fact that they decided to make Black Christmas, which never needed another remake because the second remake was still made by Bob Clark and was intended to be a different movie, and those 2 movies sit on their own, very different and together as they should. They make a third Black Christmas, change the story completely, but use the name. Like, what are you doing, Blumhouse? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you take like such a classic and just try to butcher it for no reason? I don't think anyone saw it. I didn't watch it, and I hope you made no money off of it. Shame on you, Blumhouse.
I didn't watch it.
Good,
Not
good,
even-
No.
good. Boycott it.
No.
All about making money.
Well,
Making
of
money.
course.
It didn't make money. It didn't make money. Michael. It
I
didn't.
would be curious to know like how much money was grossed in that movie.
Somebody look up the Black
Levi,
Christmas
let
Blumhouse
us
movie.
know. I'm sure Levi might know.
Yeah.
He unfortunately had to sit through it at work.
See? Did it do well, or did it bomb?
The movie that
I think Josh is looking it up.
facts that we need to know. Another one I'll throw out there, Unfriended. That is a movie I could have done without. I mean, it had this laugh, but I just remember at the end going, I can't believe I just watched a movie that just looked like I was looking at a computer.
Was the second one the one that was the dark web one? Was that Unfriended? Was it Unfriended Dark Web? Was that the second? Am I wrong? Did that
I
happen?
think so, yeah. I think that was too.
That was actually surprisingly not horrendous, but I think the first one, the regular Unfriended, was very bad. See, it bombed.
Yeah.
See, it did.
That was
make
in our
money, Michael.
bottom.
It barely made. Oh, hold on, it's going too fast. Barely made 10 million total.
Barely. 10 million is a lot of money still.
How much did it make? Does it show?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, look
true.
at how much they.
10.4.
But look at how much they used to actually make the movie. I guarantee it's more than that, probably. With everything else, it didn't do very well.
Oh, someone said it made 10.4.
Unfriended Dark Web is what the first should have been. Yeah, so see, it's the second one, and that one actually was surprisingly entertaining because I went into seeing it thinking I was going to hate it, and it was actually pretty good. It wasn't bad. Again, it was a popcorn movie. I wouldn't recommend it to like 90 people, but I did tell all my friends that I knew wouldn't see it because they were like, "Oh, that's going to be dumb." I said, "Watch it."
It's
So,
a
it's
stream
not
at
bad.
home movie. It would, if I would have saw that in theater, I would have been irate. I would have been like, "What?"
The second one's not as bad, I swear. The first one was really bad. Yeah,
Keep in
see the
mind,
promotional budget.
was more than its production.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Box office budget $5 million estimated. Opening weekend US $4.2 million.
Yeah, but you didn't take again any promotional, any of that other stuff into it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it was a success. It was a bomb. And none of us have seen it, which is a bad sign. If nobody wanted to see it,
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely didn't like make me have to go watch it. Even if it was like on every streaming platform, I still probably wouldn't click it to watch. I'd just rewatch something else. That's just how
Right.
I was
Yeah.
with it. And then, yeah, so I threw 2 out there. What about you guys? Got any more hates that you want to throw out there? And
I don't think I have to remember. Yeah,
No,
what do you guys hate?
Ours was the paranormal movies, Unfriended.
Yeah, you guys listed almost all of the paranormals.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was like the list. I'm like, okay.
one I threw out there.
I also hated Ma, and I know some people liked it, but I would think it was really disappointing.
It was a weird movie. I'll give
it just didn't like come to fruition to me. Like I was stoked to see it. I thought it was going to be really good. I mean, I think she's a great actress. I think she did a great job, but the movie just was like fell short. It just sucked. Like
it was a high school reunion revenge movie, basically. To me, that's how it read out. Like you start seeing it pan out. I'm like this girl suffered in high school, wanted to be popular, got tricked. It was like Carrie, but wrapped in movies. It was a typical high school revenge movie.
Yeah, but most of those movies are fun and good, and Ma didn't read that way. Ma just kind of read like, oh, unoriginal. And yeah, I mean, it was fine, but I mean, it was fine. I didn't like it. I didn't, but it could have been good. I think that's what really happens though when you hate a movie, and Blumhouse is really good at doing that. They take something that goes
millions isn't a bomb.
Depends on how much you put in it, Michael.
We're talking about a difference between making $4 million and 14 million. Yeah, that's a big difference now.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
not in their favor.
See?
Keep in mind, Box Office Mojo is based off what studio estimates. ComScore, who we report the numbers to from our box office, are the real numbers. Black Christmas was a bomb. See? Right, straight from the source. Straight from the guy who knows what's up with movies.
I mean, and it's again, everything is relative. When people hear $1 million, they think, oh, that must be great. But when again, you spell $4 million, $1 million doesn't mean anything. Like it's kind of like if you have $10 in your pocket, $100 might sound like a lot to you, and somebody else might laugh at you for that. So
really stick a thorn in his paw. He really wants to nail it home that it wasn't a bomb movie.
No, Event Horizon might have been a bomb in the box office, but it's a great movie. That's not indicative of how good the movie was. Sorry.
Michael is just on it. He's not going to let it go.
Those are two different things, Michael. One is if the movie was good, and one is if the movie had commercial success. And lots of wonderful movies actually bombed and didn't have commercial success till far later that were great movies. So they're not the same thing. I never saw Black Christmas, so I can't tell you it's terrible. I can just assume. But I can tell you it bombed at the box office.
And on that note.
My other bottom one that no one ever talks about, so I'm assuming that's why it lands on my bottom list, which is the Lazarus Effect. Now, I only watched the Lazarus Effect because I have a big crush on Olivia Wilde.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that she was doing a horror movie, I was like, great, this is my two things in one. And it was like Cowboy versus Aliens in the horror genre. I didn't understand. It didn't need to be made. It just was a boring movie overall. It's just boring.
I remember liking it, but I can't tell you much about it. I think I liked it more again because I thought the idea was kind of cool, not that the execution was great. And again, she's really pretty. She's not hard to watch. I don't think she did a bad job acting. It was kind of like a weird movie, though. It definitely could have been handled better. but I thought it was a different idea. Like, I don't feel like I've seen that movie 500 times.
Yeah, it just didn't bring it home, I guess. It's like not memorable. Like, I just remember that feeling going, yeah, I could have not watched that and felt like I didn't miss anything.
That's fair, though.
Brandy. That's funny.
But then it reminded me of those Saturday PSA flicks of kids don't have adults buy booze.
Right.
That's a great thing right there, you know? It's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still fighting for Black Christmas. It's almost like, was he an investor or is he making money off this movie? Because he is going to bat for it. Like, his life depends on it.
You literally just, what do you not understand, Michael? Yeah, are you on somebody's thing? Like, do you not understand that money is relative? It's on a sliding scale versus how much you have and how much you put in and what your expectation to come back into something is. Like, we're not talking about independent movies versus the money that was made in a Blumhouse big budget movie that bombed versus what it was supposed to. Those are two different things. It's called apples and oranges. Not the
They
same.
tend to piss you off because even you can see potential in their movies, but they just don't give enough to put the work in. It's perfectly put.
But they don't have to, because that is the problem. Like I said, and I'll even be guilty of it. I have a movie pass, so I don't have to pay to see everything pretty much. And to be honest with you, I'll go see anything. So Blumhouse just chalks out this shit, and we all go see it because it's easy horror, and we love horror, and we help make it successful. So we are all guilty in that. But yeah, they very rarely have things come to fruition, to be honest. Like, it's sometimes great ideas that just go.
Levi, again, he's coming in, he's saying it.
Yeah, Levi!
So again, I'm assuming he's saying you're looking at numbers based on only a studio estimate that doesn't factor in the actual numbers we report or the production budget. So again, he's reiterating, you can look at the numbers all day. It does not signify a good movie. Like, you know, and I get what Michael's trying to drive home. Like, there are movies that made millions. He brings it up here about Transformers. But still, if it didn't, like, how many of us actually watched the movie that out of us?
None.
That says something right there. Hardcore horror enthusiasts that watch even like the
anything
movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
I had no draw to watch it. It was something that could have just went left. Just leave it alone. Learn to leave things alone. Everything doesn't need to be made. You can say no.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. Everyone I know likes horror. That's what we do. We talk about it. We recommend things to each other. I can't tell one person that saw Black Christmas from Blumhouse. Not one.
I think that's a unanimous thumbs down for Black Christmas.
Boo!
Keep it up, Michael. You're gonna bring out the moon.
That's your new thumbs down, just the moon face every time.
It actually is. That is really my inner soul making that face all the time anyway.
Right? Just put this over, superimpose it over like everything. Like,
I would make that, like, can somebody make that like a GIF or something so I can just like reply to people with that instead of answering?
That's your new emoji. You're all that. Just emojis of that.
Yeah. How do I just send that face?
Getting it home. Michael Danes, which it was a failure. LOL.
Yeah, Levi! The man that actually works in a movie industry that knows numbers. Woo!
Wait a minute. Does that make sense? I
believe
Michael, I don't think that makes sense. I'd like to hear from you again.
I call it conveyor belt horror. It's like the everlasting gobstopper machine.
What's WW and TCF?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I just saw a Texas Chainsaw franchise.
Yeah, I've never actually seen somebody list it that way, and that was genius, by the way. It's much quicker than typing it all out. Yeah, it was great.
You have to know that's, I mean, because it's impressive the amount of content this studio produces. And I don't know if you guys ever dove into the Into the Dark series through Hulu, where they were putting out a movie a month. Each movie was themed after whatever holiday fell in the movie, whether it be Valentine's Day, President's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving. And some of them were interesting, but they were just definitely just like, I won't even say B, it could be C rated.
Okay.
But if you're like bored, I just put them on while I'm cleaning or something. I'm like, this is weird.
But I kind of feel like Masters of Horror was like that, though. You got really outstanding horror directors, and I only remember liking like 2 of them, like 2 episodes total, because again, you got these great directors, but for some reason it didn't work. So I mean, that does happen. You know, like I still watch it. That's fine. I'll still watch it. I'll watch anything, unless they compare me again.
That's the thing about horror is like you can love watching bad horror movies. That's the whole point. That was like a thing I used to do back when video stores were a thing. You go and you walk up and down the horror aisle and you pick out the worst looking movies and you go home and see if you can make it through. And it might be a diamond in the rough. You never know.
That's a great question, by the way.
Who would win in a Blumhouse fight? Michael Myers, the Invisible Man, or the demon from Insidious? All right, people, if you're watching, chime in. Let's see who would win, Michael Myers, Invisible Man, or Insidious. That is a tough one because you're talking about
demon, duh.
Demon, yeah, something not invisible.
Would the demon really win? Because the Invisible Man could be killed, so we'll just take him off the chart already. So it'd be Michael Myers versus demon, right? So if it's Michael Myers versus demon, then Michael Myers obviously can never fucking die, no matter what you do to him. So they're just going to be locked into this fight for like
forever,
the rest of eternity. So really, does anybody win, or is it like just an moments?
And then that's the next
determine a win other than dying. So whether it be like boxing, where you have points, or creativity and moves, or attacks, or weapon choice.
I think it turns into the next terrible Blumhouse movie they release. Michael Myers. That's
what it would be.
Randy says, I'm addicted to all of them. My dirty eye candy. All the horror anthology movies.
I mean, they're worth it.
Levi, I'll take a failure any day when I walk home with millions of dollars in my pocket. Wow.
You did walk home with millions of dollars in your pocket, Michael. That's the point. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
For the win. Case says Michael Myers for the win. Michael Myers is just a human, but they have made him more like Jason. Was he?
Me some Michael Myers, but I'm still going to go demon.
I'm demon. I'm team demon.
Pro demon.
Yeah, team demon.
Halloween 8, I'd say Michael, Blumhouse Michael, it would probably be the Invisible Man. So Levi's answer is Invisible Man. I mean, it's hard to fight something you can't see, I suppose, unless you know the old trick of like spilling
flour
or
flour, paint, anything,
or blood. Yeah. That's his Achilles, right? I don't know if he has strength. I can't recall. I haven't watched the remake.
You didn't actually watch that? It's painful.
I couldn't. Universal has I don't know why they can't get their stuff together to do justice to these classic characters that made their empire.
They should just leave them alone.
They couldn't do it with the Mummy. They made Mummy into something totally different. Like even now, when I think back, I don't look at the Mummy and go, "That was a horror icon."
Yeah.
Then you have the Invisible Man. I don't have much hope for the Wolfman.
But look, that's a problem with any kind of remake, and that's where I get really annoyed. Like, I don't mind if you borrow things from things, like Rob Zombie does a lot, and you do it different. I think that's okay. But if you're gonna go for a straight remake, you have to either turn it into a different movie while still appeasing the original, or you have to do it better than the original. And that's a really hard thing to do. But I mean, like, again, that's a low percentage that you're going to be able to nail either one of those. So you kind of got an uphill battle when you're trying to do a remake. And I have seen some remakes I like, but I think it's rare. But for some reason, Hollywood just thinks we're too lazy. Let's just keep butchering things that children haven't seen by remaking it terrible for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the Jaws remake.
I think that goes with, I think that there's some elaboration needed too, as well as I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between a reboot and a remake. And that gets kind of confusing. And to me, it's like, it's an old argument I used to have with people with cover songs. And so I hate that song. It doesn't sound like the original. Well, it's not supposed to. It's that band's version or that singer's version of the song that they love. They covered it and made it theirs. Why would you want to hear the exact same song? You can just listen to the original.
And I still think you can do the exact same song, but you have to do it better. Or you have to do it different. Like,
change it in some way that makes it worth doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Bad Wolves with Zombie. That's a good one.
Levi and Michael, I wonder if they're going to have a private
conversation. Levi, get it!
Can we just invite them in and just ref it? I want to watch it go down.
Ring the bell. and go. I might too. We'll have to have Levi and Michael do their own show, and they can duke it out with numbers and stats and all kinds of.
Yes.
I feel like we're naturally making teams throughout this experience as we go through different movies and we all work with each other. And all I know is that I want Levi on my team because I feel like he's a wonderful fact checker.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, I call Levi. I'm like, well, we can. I number. Oh, are we still talking about this? Yeah, Levi. Yeah.
Levi, there, guys.
Woo!
Oh,
yeah. Oh no! Here we go again.
We can't click on your URL, sir.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Moon face.
Just a second to point out, if you have not stocked up on some Mad Monster merch, get yourself some T-shirts at madmonster.com. I have bought all of them. I think I've collected them all. So
I pretty much
Josh has a lot.
Half the closet full.
I did notice there's a Crypt Critters tee. I did not even know this existed. So that is one I don't have for the collection.
There's some really good ones. There's some really good shirts.
You can see Justine modeling them, several of the shirts on her social medias. I think we reposted them too.
I'll buy more shirts so I can keep doing this.
People buy the shirts if you can't come to conventions, because conventions, what are those these days? Go to the website. What's your favorite convention? Mad Monster. If you're from Arizona, we got them all. Like, I looked at them today, and I'm like, there's quite an eclectic amount of shirts still available. Some that I thought were exclusive to the show. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Honestly, though, with Mad Monster shirts, like, since they're different for all the shows, sometimes there's just these amazing ones you miss out on, and then you never get them again. Like, I think I still don't think I got the Misfits one. There was like an old Misfits Mad Monster one. Yeah. And I'm still mad about it. I'm still mad.
That's why you got to get it before it's gone, because when it's gone, you never know if it's coming back.
True.
Yeah. So
I have a question for you guys, real quick. In terms of conventions, how do you feel about all these conventions going to virtual instead of just pushing things out?
I think people are trying to do what they got to do to stay relevant. I think that's what that is. It's a placeholder for relevancy. I know what you mean, because I saw Comic-Con try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think it depends. Like, everyone's trying to do that. Everyone's trying to figure out how to move into that. But some things work better than others. For me, for a convention, that's kind of dumb. But I'm not necessarily the person that wants to, like, watch YouTube all day or, like, do that anyway. Like, that's not necessarily geared towards me. I like the human experience of a convention. I want to, like, shop through someone's things and see all that kind of stuff. And you really can't do that the same way online. I don't want to say that there's not a way to figure out how to do a convention online that still maybe is interesting. I just don't know that anyone's figured that out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all.
Yeah.
We're still arguing.
They're still going at
it.
Get him! It keeps catching my attention every time I see him pop one up. I'm like, oh, geez.
Well, as far as the virtual stuff, it's very interesting to see everybody move. And this is affecting everybody, even the celebs, because they're trying to get creative and think outside the box as well for revenue. And now they're doing cameos, and they're doing, they're setting up their own websites to sell autographs online. I don't know what to think of it, honestly. Like, I really just don't know. This is something none of us ever thought would be a thing. And we just kind of have to, like, approach it at keep the spirit alive any way possible. And I think these are a great way to do that, because it gets everybody talking about what joins us together as a community, which are horror movies and the horror community. And like I said, you got to support what you love to make sure it survives this. And as a business owner, it is very important to get that support from your fans, your clients, whoever is that keeps you going.
Yeah, I think there's probably some real, like, drunk introverts that like being at home, getting wasted, probably watching things from TV instead of having to, like, be crowded around people that they feel awkward around. So I'm sure there's people that are really stoked about it. But I work conventions. I work conventions all over the country, like horror conventions. I've pretty much been to all the ones. And for me, part of that experience is, like, meeting new people, seeing old friends, giving them hugs. And I don't like to drink in the house. So, it really loses getting wasted and shenanigans. So it's,
Yeah.
it's just not the same for me. But like I said, I think there's probably a way to figure out, because this is really fun, you know, and I hope this keeps going in some way, because I still have gotten to meet new people and talk about the things I love. So that's so rad.
Yeah.
It's better than
Yeah,
nothing
sure.
the way I look at it. And as an introvert, because I am, and with it each year it gets worse and worse. I just don't want to be around crowds of people. I think that it will never replace an actual convention. To be able to meet people in person, meet that celeb in that movie that you love in person. Like getting an autograph in the mail is cool and all, but it's still not the same with the experience. And that's what convention scene is all about. And photo ops, like how are you going to get a photo op?
You're just gonna like get in front of the screen, take your phone, and be like, "Look, I'm with."
I've already seen someone do that. Someone do that at a movie, like a movie doing for what is it, the American Pickle or something, and they took a selfie with Seth Rogen and the rest of the cast on a TV, like they're standing by them, but they're like Zoom style. I'm like, that's just not doing it for me.
No.
Yeah.
You can Photoshop that just as easy as you Photoshop yourself standing next to them, but it's just that memory, and I'm all about the memories. I like the memories.
That's important.
Yeah.
And you just can't get that same feel. So hopefully they will return and come back better than ever. But like how it got us all started on this in the first place, in order for that to assure to do that, you know, support everything that you love right now if you can, if you have the money to do so.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like you gotta put it in part of your budget. You gotta like make a budget for whether it's your local restaurants or again theaters or merch or convention or whatever. I feel like you really just have to find a chunk to keep giving to those people, because nobody really talks about like how important every day is right now for those things. And again, what kind of world are we gonna have if we go back to like nothing fun and it's just Walmart?
I'm starting to forget what fun is. Like people, I mean, we're going 5 months of this, going on 6. I don't know. I lost
more.
count. I'm like,
It's 8. It started in March. That's 5 at least. 6, I guess, if you count we're in it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like, what did I used to do? Did I go out Friday, Saturday?
Yeah.
I did go out, so I did see human beings, and now I don't. So I realized the difference. I'm like, I've been talking to my dog for 6 months. Yay!
We've been getting into the virtual reality horror. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's one thing, you know, because I know I was you know, pretty bummed when, and it was expected because I live in Orlando, which is tourist capital, but Universal, when they canceled Halloween Horror Nights, that was like, that was a stake. That was like the reality check that I did not want. Like, oh yeah, this is the thing, you know, is everything just going to blur? This year just does not feel like reality. So
where are you guys at?
Arizona.
Okay, so have you done any online virtual conventions or anything?
We did the Indie Brigade. Yeah. George Romero's son, he held it. It was like an online convention, so we had our store, Grave Dirt Clothing, on there, and people would just buy stuff, and it was pretty easy. We just set up a link, and
great.
You missed it, you know. It's like I love being, you know, at the table, like peddling ourselves, and you know, hey, what's up, guys? Let's go, come over here, you know, just interacting with people. Like, we're total introverts too when it's like outside of conventions or outside of like a film set. We're just like, we like chilling by ourselves.
But horror conventions are different because you identify with everyone there. You all like the same stuff.
We're just all a bunch of weirdos. You know? It's cool to be around other weirdos who,
it's the
for the most part, are really chill people. Exactly.
But just as you guys just expected, those platforms are just perfect for vendors, because I know some people are really hurting right now because that was their way to make money. Travel the country, go to conventions and sell their merch in person. And if you don't have much of an online presence, then you're hurting. So these virtual conventions are offering that platform and cross-promoting. And I think that's great because you know, we don't need any more corporate stuff. You know, we got to keep the small guys around, especially.
Maybe it's kind of good the way it happened, because a lot of the conventions were starting to grow so rapidly. It's almost like they didn't know how to keep up, and you get to some, and it's like Comic-Con. You're like, holy shit, this is a small horror convention. There's like thousands of people here. I'm standing in line for, you know, an hour and a half to meet somebody. It's just like, it kind of lost that personal touch. So maybe when this comes back and in smaller numbers, like get a little bit more personal.
I think it's going to be worse because I want you to know that
Really?
I tried to go to Ross when that reopened and there was lines around the block for like weeks and I have never gone back since. I mean, as dumb as it sounds, like as dumb as it sounds, like people are like, "Oh, I can go do this again." So I almost feel like it's going to be worse. But I mean, again,
like
it'll
a
still
horror
be worth it.
episode right there. Going to Ross and a line wrap around
the block, around
the block.
Ross.
What?
No way.
But yeah, it's the same here. I mean, there's certain places that is because there's not much to do. Everybody's like, well, now it's that small town mentality. Everybody's hanging out at Walmart.
In the parking lot, just chilling, drinking.
I avoid that place, but you gotta know that's what people are doing because they're going stir crazy. And,
I also, by the way, if you guys didn't know, heard that AMC is going to start having like 50 cents or $1.50 movies or something crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's supposed to open on the 20th, so there's that too.
I don't know what that's
amazing.
Look like 15 cents.
That's
I think that was like the price that the tickets when they first opened. Levi might have an answer if he's.
Yeah, I was about to say, Levi, you're the one.
Where's the numbers bad? Hello. But you know the drinks are going to be 15 to 20. Popcorn will be probably 25. You know.
And then you have to pay $5 in the bathroom.
I think that was the joke, but so I had an AMC movie pass before everything happened, and that's why we see all these movies for free. Basically, it was like $20 a month, and you pretty much it was better than Movie Pass though. It was like unlimited. You could go go rewatch the same movie. It was incredible, but we had to pay for food, and it totally was worth it because there's also like a $7 junior meal deal where you get gummy bears, a popcorn, and a drink for $7. So if anyone ends up going to AMC, go for the children's meal. You'll love it.
Levi coming in with the confirmation that yes, that's the deal for the first day only.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it would be crazy of them. I don't know. But the next day though, I think they'll end, and I think the end of the month it's $6.
That's so nice.
Thank you, Levi.
It will be interesting to see how that works out because I do miss going to theaters. I was a matinee person myself. I was that one person that always in the theater watching the horror movie at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Have you guys in the drive-in theaters at all?
We don't have any.
We have so Beyond Fest. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but I love Beyond Fest, and they do kind of like festival movie things. So they've been doing a festival night at the Mission Tiki Drive-In, but it's probably about an hour away. So we went for the very first night, which was Mad Max and Death Race 2000, which I loved. But it's weird because they're trying to social distance the cars still. So some people still park like jerks and you can't see over them. And the screen's actually really small unless you're really close up, which makes you go, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I love the drive-in. I love movie theaters. But there's a point where you're like, why am I sharing a bathroom with people and driving an hour both ways to do it? When I literally can watch all of these things on my couch with my bathroom next to me and my refrigerator for snacks. So
or you
put a TV in the bathroom. You're set for the evening.
I mean, and they show great movies, but they show movies that like I love and I've seen 100 times. So to me, it's really great that they're doing it, but it's been slightly redundant. Because you can't. It's not. Again, you can't just wander around and see your friends and do what the fuck ever you want. So it's still kind of weird. But it's cool that they're doing it. I mean, like I said, I like all theater experiences. I like matinees. I like big theaters. I like vintage theaters. I mean, I like all of it. So
What's up,
say,
Marco?
what up, horror show? What up, Cecil?
Hello.
We actually went to Jurassic Park at a pop-up drive-in, and it's kind of like you were saying. I mean, we were about 5 rows back, and the screen was so small that it was like, our TV's bigger at home. And then we tried to do the old school, back the big truck up, and we all, sat in the back, and then all the cars next to us, nobody would get out because it was so hot, so we're breathing fumes all night. It's just like, it wasn't the drive. So.
Here, you're not even allowed to do that. You're not allowed to like sit in your car or anything, and you have to sit in your car with your windows rolled up. Yeah, that's supposedly the rules, but it's summer in California with your car turned off and your windows rolled up.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, how about I watch that movie with my dog and a blanket because I have my air conditioning on so cold.
Yeah.
It's freeze.
Well,
I mean,
maybe
I think
will resolve the situation and make
Yeah.
this some kind of futuristic drive-in with all that Black Christmas money.
yeah.
Yes.
Levi, can you set him up with somebody? I'm sure you know.
I bet you that guy really liked Black Christmas and or would go see it at the drive-in. So
What's that? A Black Christmas double feature?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Well, I do
Play the
love
same
Black
one
Christmas.
twice.
I love Black Christmas double features, but it's the 2 originals, not the 3rd that never should have been made. So yeah, you would have to watch that schlock twice in a row. So
Levi, you could buy the entire set of Friday the 13th at Walmart for like $6. So that's a little too expensive.
oh, that's good.
I think that's.
I mean,
cool.
again-
I lived here and I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Friday
that's
the 13th
pretty
playing for $3.
I mean, I think it's cool, like I said, that they're doing stuff. I think it's rad that it's actually opening the door for maybe some other movies you wouldn't have gotten to see on a big screen or in a theater. But it's like a convention thing online. I think it's, we're still early on in this. Hopefully we don't have to keep staying in this bubble, but it's interesting to figure out how to make the bubble work. So
Yeah, with virtual cons, couch concerts, and at-home theater premieres.
yeah.
Don't get me started on the drive-in concerts. That's just a horrible idea.
That seems silly, but like it just people are just trying to make money, and I can't hate on them for that, because they got to make money too, and it's
We're all trying to make it work.
I saw a cool one in another country where they had like little they were up high and they're like little boxes that you had to stay in. Yeah, and they were all pretty far apart, and I thought that's actually pretty cool. I'm sure it's a lot of work, and I don't know how profitable it is, but
I would go for that because I don't like touching people, and I'm small, so I always get squished by the biggest people in the crowd. Somehow it's like a magnet. So I'm having my own little bubble, I even saw a KMFDM post where everybody was in giant plastic bubbles, and I'm like, there you go, hamster balls.
Could you imagine watching those things with the wall split?
It was crazy, right? It's like Bubble Boy. We're living in real life Bubble Boy. We just haven't seen anybody.
Oh my gosh.
That would be fire. I'm so down for that.
I would buy a bubble if it was an option. I would be a little hamster rolling around. I'd be like, what's up?
You know how to tell like you're just in your
crowd surfing would be so easy.
Yeah.
Just toss the ball up there.
At a flaming
Just bounce it. What did the horror show say? We're getting ready for a Black Christmas fan film from Dave McRae. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. We're gonna have
I'm ready to get back into shooting Dylan's New Nightmare. I'm waiting for that one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm not waiting for anything but the new Purge, just because if they don't revamp that thing to make it make sense with what's going on right now, they're dumb.
Oh yeah, you gotta take advantage of it for sure.
Easy. I saw the Blumhouse movies that all got bumped until next year, 2020, and none of them mattered except The Purge, and I was shocked that suddenly The Purge was the only movie I was looking forward to.
I was like, too hot of a topic, like it's too easy. It's like, this is too easy, it's too hot. Maybe we gotta let it cool down and then make it relevant again. I don't know, because I was waiting for the second season of the series, and I'm like, did this just drop and get canceled? And the only reason why I watched the series in the first place is because Fiona Dorff was in it, and I wanted to see what they put her in as a role, and it was like a cult leader, and it was perfect for her because she plays crazy so good. So
nice.
That was the draw. The rest of it I could leave it, but you're right. Where is the content that relates to what's going on right now?
Well, I saw this movie that must have just been new. I'm pretty sure it was an IFC movie because I tend to favor those. Interest all Amazon. Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing releases on Amazon. So they got Hulu and Amazon on lockdown. Yeah. This is becoming a monopoly.
That's what it is. But I think it was IFC. I can't remember what it's called. I have to look, but it must have just gotten churned out, which was slightly genius. The movie wasn't that good, but it was basically like what we're doing, but it was like a Zoom meeting. So it was a bunch of girls. They got together on a Zoom meeting and they called in like a psychic seance kind of thing. And they decided to have an online seance, and they made a mistake basically, and the demon kills them one by one, but the whole thing's filmed on the Zoom screen. And it was about they're doing it on Zoom because we're in a pandemic. So it it was creative in the fact that they turned it out so quick and that, you know, they made it work on just a Zoom screen. It wasn't the best movie by any means, but it was at least interesting. And that's the first one that I've seen that's come out of this. So
Yeah.
Well, I think we hit a lot of things tonight, and we definitely stirred the pot.
Yes.
Which is
Michael
what
hates
we're
me
setting
and
out for.
Levi.
It's funny. It was a movie that was like it didn't even make any of my lists. Whose list did it make? It? Oh, Justine's list. So you really stirred the pot. You did beehive and got things going, and it made for great content. Hopefully for all the viewers.
And then me and Sergeant Horror are going to go at it again over something. I just don't know what. Otherwise, we're going to have to keep making fun of each other about the Lighthouse and Lords of Salem, and we're going to have to expand somehow.
He is
great. A Lighthouse remake from Rob Zombie with Sherry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Sherry is stranded on an island with herself.
Yes.
Sherry.
She doesn't need to be because it's just boobs and butt crack. It can't just be herself because she's got to have like some old school awesome actor from some other famous movie. So it's got to be her and somebody else that's probably cheap to get but still pretty cool. So it's got to be those two. Or Sherry Moon is the mermaid that they masturbate to. Either way, it works.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Then she's got her boobs and her butt crack. So maybe she's. Call me. We'll talk about it.
Oh,
God. I got your idea for you.
Jeez.
So Blumhouse is releasing 8 movies on Amazon. Man, I cannot believe. See, this is what we're talking about. They're just churning out these movies. Like,
man,
just churning them out.
Like they might. The next thing you know, it's the Blumhouse streaming platform. That's what I'm waiting for. They're gonna have their own Shutter. You know, they have enough content for it. Why not? Why stop there? Oof,
you just gave them a terrible idea. I'm gonna blame you for this one that rolls out.
I'll take
Not
that.
very long from now.
I will take that because mine is. You know what? That's my biggest pet peeve, and it brings it out a lot with these lists that we're doing. Is when I'm like, where did I see what platform is streaming this movie? And you have to go through all of them to remember which one it is. Like, was it Hulu?
That's annoying.
Was it HBO? Was it Showtime? No, was it Netflix? Like, and then by the time 20 minutes later, you still haven't figured out which platform.
Yeah.
And then
well, you know what? If it doesn't work for obscure movies as well, but if it's relatively known movie, if you Google it, it'll give you a watch list of everything you watch on. The problem is that generally isn't updated. So you do kind of still end up doing it.
Or it's European, which they don't have the same titles out on Netflix or Hulu or as we do. So I'll go looking for it. Like, oh, it's UK Netflix. Great.
You're like, great.
And I was doing that to rewatch Lord of Salem so it would be fresh. Like I already knew I made my opinion on it, but I wanted to freshen up so I can just like get really down to the brass tacks. And I couldn't find it anywhere on any platform, even Shudder. Like the internet said it was on Shudder. You go click the link's no longer valid. So that was
they do that. Shudder's actually the worst for that. Like they don't update it at all because it says you can get almost anything on Shudder and then it never is. Like even Insidious, I rewatched it the other night just because I was like, oh, we're doing this thing and I love it. I'll watch it. So I was like, well, what about Insidious 2 or 3 or any of that? And then you have to pay for all those. And I was like,
yeah. Or they'll give you like 1, but 2's not streaming. But 3 is.
Yeah. It was the same thing with that Gallows movie that's on this list. There's Gallows and the Gallows 2. You can't watch the Gallows, the first one for free. You can only watch the second one for free, I think. Which doesn't, I mean, I guess it's still fine without watching the first one. It's always like that though. You're like, okay, thanks.
That's my biggest pet peeve. I get so mad and it's just like, I want to watch it. I don't know how to find it or nowhere to be found. And I don't want to pay $4.
And I'm too lazy to actually get off my big ass and go look for the DVD and have to change the TV over and put it in. So I will admit, I will admittedly call myself out for that. That I own all of these things, but I don't want to go find it. I want it to just be streaming on my TV like a lazy person. I'm so busy during quarantine. I can't possibly put a DVD in. So yeah.
You gotta get up off the couch and walk over to the TV. It's a lot of work.
I gotta find it. Yeah, I gotta switch the outputs or whatever. It's a lot, you know.
You gotta put the disc in. You gotta push play.
Let's not even talk about the menus.
You know, if I want to watch special features or this and that, you know what I mean? Then it's a whole thing.
Well, I agree. I had to watch a physical DVD, and it forced you to watch all of the trailers for all these dated movies. Like, now, coming soon. Like, I don't want to watch this. It won't let me skip it. It just forces you. And I'm like, this is why.
Eight-legged freaks.
I don't miss that about DVDs. I was like, that is a quick reminder how spoiled we are. Just press play and watch the movie. You don't have to watch the trailers. You don't have to deal with the menu, even though some menus are great. And I'll give that to Rob Zombie. He made one of the best menus for House of Thousand Corpses with Sid Haig.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Today.
That was great.
Blew my mind when I bought it because I waited for that movie, and when it finally came out, I'm like, this menu makes the movie. This menu's amazing.
Right.
Never seen.
And again, but that's the thing. Not to even get back on the by any means Rob Zombie kick, but like House of a Thousand Corpses is as it should be. I mean, and again, maybe Devil's Reject is a better movie. I'm not going to argue back and forth on those, but House of a Thousand Corpses is a music video that somehow was okay as a video, like as a movie. And the soundtrack's good. The songs are great. You know what I mean? Like, it is like his Zen moment in time. I feel like, you know, like that's a really Rob Zombie movie, but like the best of Rob Zombie's real Rob Zombie movies. After that, it gets almost again like revamping it, which doesn't need to be done, you know? So that's where it's weird. So the title screen, everything. I mean, I think House of a Thousand Corpses for what it is a perfect moment in time.
I agree.
It worked.
And we've come full circle. So on that note, we should part ways. And I thank everyone for coming and joining in and participating. Stay tuned. I believe we're doing these now every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. So
nice.
Make sure you subscribe on YouTube or keep an eye out on Facebook when the events are scheduled. If you click the event, it will give you reminders. And check out madmonster.com and read Justine's review. You got a little taste of it? Like, the whole thing. Come on. What is that?
True.
Okay. Always fun, Levi. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Reason.
This is us signing off.